What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Universal Teas. It's the People's Podcast with your girl, Toya. And this episode is called Engage Your Core. Okay? And this is an episode all about values. First of all, I know, I missed a week, but here we are. And believe it or not, I don't feel good. Y'all, I feel like there's been a couple of episodes recently where I'm just saying I don't feel good. I don't know what's going on. I just got to make better habits, make better choices, diet, moving my body more. I don't know. But being sick is very ghetto. Even though I probably don't sound like it, my throat is not feeling good. I've been having these headaches, been really tired. But my word for this month, the month of July, is commit. And I kind of want to talk about that a little bit before I get into this episode. So this is my year for self-awareness, and one thing that I have had to more recently be very honest with myself about is that I failed to commit. I failed to practice discipline in certain areas. I come up with amazing plans. I have amazing ideas. I have undeniable talent, skill, ability, and network, but I don't commit, right? I fall off forever, or for months or for weeks. And so what I'm challenging myself to do this month is to commit. And one of the ways in which I'm going to commit is to be on this platform. I even went so far as to have the word commit be my lock screensaver on my phone. So every time I pick up my phone, I literally see the word commit. And finding the things that are important for me to commit to, which kind of is going to tie into this episode about values, but even more importantly, making a schedule, y'all. So what I decided to do yesterday, which was Sunday, I'm recording this on Monday, y'all gonna hear it on Tuesday, but I went into my Google Calendar and I literally made a schedule for myself monthly. So what I did, I think a couple days before that, or maybe was it a week, child, I don't know, but before I even went into make this Google Calendar, I made a list of some of my goals for the second half of this year, because we know we just hopped into the second half of 2024. And so I wrote down all of the things that I want to do and accomplish. And then yesterday I went into my Google Calendar and fit them in. So I literally made myself a schedule to record podcasts. I made myself a schedule to think about events that I want to do, episodes that I want to record, topics and things that I want to focus on, and gave myself specific days throughout the month, because what I realized that I was doing, which kind of caused me to fail to commit, is I was constantly just making aimless to-do lists all the time. And that to-do list got very, 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 and it's still getting very long. And so giving myself specific time allotted throughout a month to do things. So there's something that I have to do every first Monday of the month. There's something that I have to do every third Wednesday of the month. There's something that I have to do every second Tuesday of the month. And so that spreads things out for me and makes it a little easier to put my focus on one thing at a time, because I realized that I've struggled with figuring out how to prioritize the things that I want to do, recognizing that all things can get done, right? I always say you can do everything, you just can't do everything at once. And so I'm one person, right? I don't have a team of people. I will need one, so keep your eyes and ears to the streets for that. But for right now, it's just me trying to do all of these things and make all of these things come into fruition. And so I have to really map out time within a month. I gave myself like month chunks to get things done. So every, like I said, X amount of time in a month, or every X amount of days in a month, I spend doing something. And I also realized that I struggle to commit to the gym, right? So I even put days in the week, because I know I had to be honest with myself. It sounds cute to say I'm gonna go to the gym every day, but me knowing me and just how my world is right now and how I'm moving, I have so many moving pieces in my life right now. Going to the gym every day is not feasible for me. It's not feasible for my energy, and the way that my days have been stretched more lately. So I've decided that, baby, there's 7 days in a week. Go to the gym 3 of them and spend the other days just moving your body in some way, whether it be a walk, whether it be some living room YouTube yoga. I really enjoy that. Or even just spending some time meditating every day, or the days where I'm not in the physical gym, but literally these days I'm going to the gym. And I went as far as putting like what body parts I'm going to work on. So on this day in the gym, out of the 3 days, I'm going to work on upper body. So it'll be arms, back. You know what I'm saying? On this day, I'll do my lower body. On this day, I'll do full body or cardio or HIIT. You know what I mean? So just giving myself clear things to do that isn't overwhelming. Saying I'm going to go to the gym every day is overwhelming because what the heck am I going to do in the gym every day? You know, I don't want to go to the gym every day. Going to the gym every day is not fun to me. You know, it doesn't give me a rush. You know what I'm saying? But I do see the importance of living a healthy lifestyle. I do enjoy seeing my body change. I do like the feeling of training, you know, lifting. I do enjoy that. And so finding ways to meet myself where I am and give myself grace, but also not taking opportunity away from myself. And so that word commit, if you would like to join me, tell me in the comments, send me a DM, an email, a message telling me what your focus word is for the month of July. We are all on this journey for self-awareness in 2024. But for this month of July, my word is commit. And that's committing to the things that I say that I want, committing to do the work that I said I'm going to do, and just committing to my goals, visions, and gifts and feeding into those. So that is that. I don't even know how that started, but I do know, because I said that I am sick right now and I still am committing myself to recording this podcast episode. I did have this whole plan to like set up all my video equipment, get the light, camera, action, but right now it's just audio like it has been, and I'm okay with that. Honestly, I feel like this is more passionate and intimate when I am just doing audio, because I'm not a for the camera type of girl. I'm not a like content girl. I'm gonna push myself right to get there because I want to reach as many people as I can. But for right now, today, me feeling sick, child, I'm sitting here in my little Spanx. I got on this hoodie I found that I actually stole from my little cousin that she probably want back. Baby, hair not done. After this, I'm going to the store to get me some ingredients to make me some soup, and pushing through the rest of this week, because excuses are tools of incompetence that build bridges that lead to nowhere. And people who use these tools of incompetence seldom amount to anything. And baby, I'm going to amount to a whole lot. Okay. So with that being said, like I said, this episode is called Engage Your Core. And in parentheses, I'm going to put values, because that's something that I've noticed has been at the forefront for me. My therapy sessions a while ago, y'all. So I need to recommit to therapy, but therapy ain't free. Either way, I was in therapy one time and the question came up about values. What are your values? And I'm not going to lie, I kind of had to... I kind of had to get a little time to think about that question, because what I realized is, one, I'm just now understanding at 30 years old how important values are for your personal development and your personal commitment to how you move into the world. But I never really sat down and thought about what my values are and why. And of course, those that you hear all the time come to you, which are like honesty, trust, communication, very, very, you know what I'm saying, valid values. But I didn't know what those necessarily meant for me and the trajectory and journey that I've had in my life. So more recently than ever, I'm being faced with having to, the more I learn about myself, also having to understand what values are important to me. And the reason, or the catalyst for me getting this discovery of my values had to do first, honestly, with things that hurt my feelings or made me feel away, or things that I don't like. And I really had to uncover and question why I don't like these things. Why do these things make me feel a certain way? And it really came down to certain things that I value, and when those values were not met. In whatever job, situation, friendship, relationship I have, I realized that I felt certain emotions when I felt like my values weren't being respected or they weren't being met by others. And I also realized that I was jeopardizing relationships because I never thought about how another person's values not conflict. I don't want to say they conflicted with mine, or I just didn't see the value as being at a high stake as they did. And I think that was a beautiful thing for me, because me causing relationships to have to be examined that I also had, both friendships and otherwise, it made me really take a look at things, values that I needed to adopt or change. And I'm going to get to that later in this episode, because as we grow, one, where in my journey, I realized the importance of values as a baseline. And then two, I realized that my actions in the past were examples of values that I no longer ascribe to, or not that I don't ascribe to, but values that are not gonna help me progress and become the woman that I know that I'm called to be. And so I've really had to sit down and figure out things that I value. And I'm going to share, I think I have like 2 of them right now. And the reason that I say 2, it doesn't mean that I don't value other things. It just means that I'm still taking these values and literally dissecting them to figure out why they are important to me. So if I don't name a specific value, I don't want y'all to be like, oh, Toya don't value this, or she didn't say she values this. It's not that I don't value it, but I just haven't put my full attention and focus on that particular value. And there are 2 that I've discovered within my recent life are extremely important to me. And when those values aren't met, I feel away. I'm angry. I'm upset. I feel like my boundaries are being disrespected. And I think that's also something that I notice is the very close relationship between values and boundaries, personal values and personal boundaries. And so that's what I wanted to get into. But before I get into those values for myself personally and give you all some activities and challenges that you can do to hone into your own personal values, I want to talk about the definitions. So I called this episode Engage Your Core, and in parentheses values. So engage your core values. And that came to me because I told you I'm about to be getting back in the gym. And every time you work out, you hear engage your core. You all know I danced. I did ballet for a long time. Anytime we did any movement in ballet, especially when we were doing turns or spins, instructors always tell you to engage your core, because that's what holds you up. That's what holds you tight. That's what makes everything else be able to execute. Even in yoga, engage your core. That's something you hear often. And the core is the center, right? So at the center of every dance move that I did, at the center of every rep or thing that I did in the gym, at the center of every yoga pose, I had to engage the core, because that is where you are stabilized. And so let's start with the definition of core. It is, and I found 2 definitions. I thought they related, so stay with me. The first definition relates to fruit, right? So it's the tough central part of various fruits. So we all know a fruit that has a core, whether it be a cherry. I was going to say, does a plum have a core? I think so. But any of those fruit that have that hard core in the middle. And so what stood out to me in this definition is a tough central part. And the word tough stuck out to me because on this journey to understanding my core values, I realized that sometimes it is difficult to pinpoint what they are. I told y'all, I am literally at 2 core values for me that I know for a fact and have analyzed, interpreted, broken apart, and understand are extremely important to me. There are others that I'm sure will be, but it's tough at the center, because once you understand your values, it's going to be really tough for somebody to disrespect your boundaries. And I'll get to that in a second. But that's the first definition of core, is a tough central part of various fruit. And we are people who are fruitful, right? We are fruit of life, of God, of the world, however you want to see it, of the universe. We are fruitful people. And so the next definition is a little more literal, or not literal. Y'all know what I mean. The next definition means, of core, means central to the existence or character of someone or something. So that goes to like the core value. So it's central to someone's character. Okay. And those characters, I think I did an episode about character. I'm not 100% sure. If not, it's something that I definitely want to revisit. But when we talk about your core values, we're talking about those things that are central to the existence of who you are in the earth, in the world. Those things that are central to you are at your core. Okay. The next definition. So this episode is called Engage Your Core. I wanted us to understand what the word Your core values, sorry. I wanted us to understand what the word engage means. To engage means to participate or become involved in something. So if we're talking about engaging your core values, you have to literally be an active participant in these values that rest at the core of who you are. That's it. That's the episode right there, right? But engage means to participate or become involved in. You can't say that you are involved, that you have a core value in something or that you're engaging in your core values and you don't participate. You can't say that you want something from someone else. You can't say that you want somebody to show up, act, communicate with you in a certain way, and you don't engage in that behavior yourself. Engage, get involved, participate in the central being of who you are. And that leads me to the last definition that I want to give before getting into all of this is the word values. So values are a person's principles of standards of behaviors, one's judgment of what's important in life. So what you think is important in life are your values. Your principles of standards of behavior. So your values have to do with the behaviors in which you exhibit, and the judgment of what is important in life, your personal judgment for what is important. So let's get into this definition. This episode title, Engage Your Core. You have to be an active participant in the things that you value, meaning the things that are the principles for your standards of behavior, so how you show up in the earth, and the way in which you judge what is important in life at the core, okay? That's central to you. And so, like I said before, you have to be an active participant in your core values. And so this is important because this helps you to set boundaries. Being an active participant in your own core values helps you set boundaries, because I know y'all have heard this before. If you literally will not allow yourself to behave in a certain way, if you will not allow yourself to show up in the world no matter what in a certain way, there is no way in your right mind that you will allow another person or outside entities to show up in your life in that way. So once you have solid core values that you are engaged with, an active participant in, you then automatically have boundaries for what you will not allow, because I won't allow myself to not show up and be this type of person. So there's no way that I'm going to allow you to do that. And let's get into one of the core values. So as I was exploring these definitions and these ideas and concepts for myself, one core value that I stand firm on and that is really near and dear to my heart is integrity. And let me look up the definition, but the simple definition of integrity is showing up or being who you are or doing what is right even when no one is looking. Hold on. Integrity. Right. So the definition of integrity is the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, morally upright. Right. So that's being who you are even when nobody's looking. So being moral, having strong moral values is a part of integrity. And so when I feel like, in the way that I interpret integrity in my daily life is, like it said, honesty and trust. And so I'm going to break this down a little more, but I feel like integrity and trust, and I'm thinking about in relationship or even in work and jobs, but more specifically the way it's shown up is in relationship or in friendship. I need to trust that you are going to be morally right in this relationship, in this friendship when I'm not in the room. I don't want to spend time worrying about if I am the negative topic of my friend's conversation, if I am the point of shade or pettiness in a conversation in a room that I'm not in. I only want people around me who are going to defend me, stand up for me, promote me, speak my name in a room of opportunities that I am not in. I don't want to worry about, I don't want anybody around me and I have to wonder if you talking shit about me in another room. I need people who show integrity, who are honest, even when I'm not around. Strong moral principles, morally upright. So I need integrity in my life. And And so that's one of my core values that I realize is very important to me is integrity. And so with that, I have to do that for myself. I don't say things about my friends in a room that they're not in that I wouldn't feel comfortable saying to them in person. You know, even the difficult things. And that doesn't always mean that you feel positively about someone. Don't get it confused. Having integrity does not mean that you don't feel positively about someone. It's having the moral principle of honesty and being able to still say that to them if they asked you. Or being able to even bring it to them and they don't ask you. But don't speak or show moral imbalance for someone who you consider a friend, a trusted colleague in a relationship. So integrity is a core value and you have to actively participate in that. And it's not always easy. To be honest, it's not always easy to be morally correct. And there's a lot of things I feel like tie into integrity, like communication, listening, all of those things, trust. And so I am going to I am going to break those things down for myself, doing the inner work with self-awareness that I'm doing this year. But the point that I was getting at is becoming an active participant and being able to set boundaries. So I know that if I value integrity, if I express and show integrity, that means that I have no space in my life to allow that from any outside entity. Integrity is important to me. And so another point that I wanted to get at when we're on this journey to self-awareness that I kind of also mentioned in the beginning is giving yourself grace and growth. Because as you grow and change, so will your values. Let me tell you right now, I am a walking testament to the growth of values throughout this journey of life. I am 30 years old. When I think about Toya at 21, when I think about Toya at 23, when I think about Toya at 25, baby, when I still think about Toya at 28, there are some ways in which, and remember the word value has to do with your standards of behavior. The way that I behaved, some of the things that I did, allowed, said, ways in which I operated in those ages before 30 are not ways in which I will behave now or in the future because my values for behavior have changed. And so what I have to do right now is give myself grace and others grace, right? So I have to give myself grace as I change by being okay with saying, I'm not sure what all my values are right now, but I'm working on it. I also have to give other people grace who knew me in those times in my life because they are still going to approach me as if those are still my behaviors and values because that's all they know, especially since your girl been so isolated. So when I step into rooms and people still address me as if I am 21, 23, 25, 28, I have to give them the grace because y'all don't know me in this state of my life. But I'm going to graciously introduce you to who I am now. And not even by saying, by doing. And being okay with the fact that I have changed. Being okay with somebody looking at me a little different. Or maybe having a side conversation. Throwing a little slight shade because they don't understand. It's okay. But I'm showing up as who I am today. I don't care who you knew a year or two ago. I don't care what happened 2-3 years ago. I don't care the last memory you had of me, whether it be positive or negative. Here's who I am now. Get with it or get lost. Period. And yeah, I said it like that because I mean it like that. I am so committed to loving who I am today that I don't have the energy to try to stand up for, defend, argue against who you knew me as. Sorry, not sorry. You know what I'm saying? And so giving yourself grace as you change and grow will also give you grace in figuring out what you value. I think also, this just came to me. I think we don't necessarily, or sometimes we may not lose values because I'm thinking about what I value when I was in my early 20s. And I think a lot of that was fun and freedom. I valued those things. You know what I'm saying? I value community a lot more. And not to say that I don't value joy now, because yes, I still want joy in my life, but the ways in which I exhibit it may be different. The people around me and how they exhibited. Joy for me was going to the club, figuring out where we at every Friday, Saturday night. Joy to me now might look like going to a museum, going out of town, going to another country, going to the beach, doing yoga. Some of the things that I valued a whole lot then may just be at a different level now. You know, it could still be there. It's just not as high on the totem pole as other things. And giving myself grace to be okay with that shift. Okay. I'm gonna wrap us up by saying this and talking about core values, because I think about where we hear this term. I hear the term core values a lot in work. Companies, businesses have core values. Schools, core values. And so I think that it is so important because these companies literally spend time writing out what their core values are, what their missions are, what their visions are. And I don't see why we shouldn't do those things for ourselves. And so when I think about a core value, remember, the core is central to the existence or character of someone, and values show up as the principles of standards of behavior or the judgment of what's important in life. So when I think about core values, I want us to understand that they have to be central to you, meaning they have to be something you can uphold no matter what situation you're in. No matter what your bank account looks like, no matter how much money you make, no matter what relationship you're in, no matter how your friends grow and develop around you, no matter how people treat you. That's a big one. How is your behavior, the values that you hold for what is important in life, still going to be steadfast? Okay? So, what I want to leave you all with is a task. And that is to literally figure out what you value. I want you to write down just 3. There are a million different things we can value, but I want you to think of 3 central things that you value. Right now I got 2, so I'm going to be doing this with y'all. I told y'all one of my things that I value right now is integrity, and the other is honesty. And so I want you to figure out 3 things that are your values. I have to do one more. Write what the definitions of those words are, because you'll be surprised when you look at what a word actually means. You may realize that you don't value it as much as something else, or you may find that in that definition there's something that you want to be a core value. But write down what the definitions are. Write down how you show up as these, or how you can show up if you have not mastered it yet, because remember, this is a journey. And then I want you to think about boundaries, right? So why do you have this core value? Why is it important for you and others to show up this way? And then think about the boundary that is attached to that core value. Okay? I know that seems very open-ended, but I'm going to leave y'all there. This episode was called Engage Your Core. And I hope that you all do the work. I hope that this gave the person that needed it what they needed. Let me know if that's you. Comment, like, share. Hit me up on Instagram at Universal Teas. That's Universal TEAS. And let me know that this episode resonated with you. Share it. Share the link with somebody who you know needs it. Pull it up in your study group, in your chat group, in your thought group. Talk about it. Talk to me about it. Yeah, and I'm about to go to the store and make me some tea so I could go to sleep, child, because I'm pushing through this week. And remember, my focus word for this month is commit. What is yours? Let me know. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.